That's one of those salsas that, like my friend used to say, revive muertos. This will raise the dead. It's that good. In today's video, we're cooking costillas and salsa. Costillas in this video are short ribs. If you guys have been following me for a while, then you know already that short ribs is one of my favorite cuts to grill. I have a lot of fond memories of my grandpa cooking short ribs over a direct mesquite coal fire. I've cooked them hundreds of times. I've smoked them, I've grilled them. Today, I'm gonna share with you guys another way to cook these short ribs to delicious perfection. This recipe has a couple of different parts to it. First, we're gonna whip up a salsa. We're using poblanos, chipotles, and a few other tasty ingredients. Next is the cooking process for the short ribs. We're gonna sear them first on both sides to get a little bit of that delicious char. But because these ribs are a tough cut, we're gonna have to simmer them for a while to get them down to that super tender bite. And while that simmer's going on, we're gonna whip up a delicious side dish, and that's my stage 3 refried beans from my cookbook, ArnieTex. All right, that's enough talking. Let's cook up these costillas and salsa. Vámonos! The cooking technique for these costillitas is a little bit of a sear and then a little bit of a simmer. And to do that, we're gonna be using my made-in pans. Made-in is the sponsor of this video. Now, y'all have seen me use these made-in pans for a long time now, and that's because me and my house, we love our made-in pans. Made-in designs professional quality products for the home cook like you and me. Now, Made-in's been a long-time sponsor for my channel here, and that's because I love their cookware and the quality of their products. And they also partner with multi-generational factories and artisans. And so for today's recipe for the costillas and salsa, we're using the Made-in stainless steel collection. These are crafted in Italy, and they're used by professional chefs in the world's best kitchens. Their quality really is that good. Made-in's premium 5-ply stainless steel material is what sets it apart from other pans out there. The 5 layers allow for superior heat retention, even heating, and ease of heat control. The handles are also designed to stay cool on the stovetop, and they're ergonomic to help balance the pans. Plus, all of Made-in's stainless clad cookware can go from the stovetop to the oven with ease, all the way up to 800 degrees. Y'all can check out the stainless collection and Made-in's other cookware by using the link in my description to save on your order. Alrighty then, let's cook these costillitas. Vámonos! I'm gonna roast my poblanos over here. I'm going to toast my chile ancho over on this side. See how they're a little bit flexible? You kind of really want them that way. They have a lot more flavor when they're not too dried out. I'm going to get my chile poblano. Now sometimes these chiles, when they're dry, they get a little rolled up or whatever. So you might want to need something to press down on them. And when you're doing both, make sure you're paying attention. See how that's getting real pretty? You want to rotate it, or as I say, flippity flip it, so that you don't burn it. You just really want to char the outside so you can get it peeled. Poblano's coming along really good. Let me get number 2 over here. We're running 2 of these. You want to press down a little bit over here, just enough to get them smoking a little bit like that. When they start to smoke, you're just almost done. If you look close here, you can see how they got charred. They're charred, nice and pretty. The color changed. It's time to take them out. We don't want to burn them. We just want to add a little bit of that toasty color and flavor on there. Let's get these onto the foil here. You want that steam inside so that it softens up the exterior of the poblano chiles, and then it makes it a lot easier to peel. I've already got some water warming up over here. We're probably gonna add a little bit more, but we need to get our tomatillos going here. So we're gonna drop all of our tomatillos in the water here. While this is coming up to boil, I'm going to get my onion, about 1/4 of an onion, and I'm just gonna cut this into a couple of smaller pieces because it's going into the boiling water too. We have 2 garlic cloves going in there. While that's coming up, let's go ahead and de-seed our ancho chiles. I like to cut a little slit on one side, and it's really easy to do. You just gotta open them up at least on one side, and then just kind of open it that way. Let's drop these ancho chiles into the water as well. We want them to get softened up. We're also gonna use 2 serrano peppers. The tomatillos are first to come out. They get done pretty quick. You want them to get a nice little opaque color like that. We're gonna go ahead and take out the rest of these ingredients. In go the serrano peppers and the ancho chiles. We're gonna get those into the blender too. Look, see how they're falling apart? That's really what you want. You want to get nice and soft. I'm gonna let them cool off a little while. Meantime, let's go ahead and peel our poblano peppers over here. They've been sitting there for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna take the stem off first, just kind of peel the outside. Now you can slit them open and take out the seeds first. What I found was that if you leave them whole, it's a little bit easier to clean the outside. And it's even easier if you leave the stem on instead of taking it off the way I just did. Sometimes, you know, when you're doing stuff like this, you know, you kind of like, you're trying to do a great job, and you forget stuff. Okay, now I'm gonna slit it open it up, and get all the seeds out too. Friends, this is really not that hard to do. It does take a little time, but trust me, that little extra effort, that little extra time, you're gonna be rewarded by taking that time with some really delicious flavors. I'm gonna put this right in here. I'm gonna take about half a cup of this chili water. I'm gonna pour that in here. We may need to add a little bit more later. We're gonna put about maybe 2 teaspoons of salt, pepper, garlic. I'm gonna give it a pulse. Once it gets all loosened up like that, you're ready to rock and roll. But wait, there's more. I forgot my chipotle. We gotta put the chipotle in here. Here I have 3 chipotle peppers with a little bit of the adobo sauce. We're gonna dump those in here too. All right, here we go. Look at that beautiful color. And just like that, we have this darker, colorful, somewhat mahogany colored salsa. It's beautiful. It smells so good. I'm gonna give this a taste test. Oh, that's so good. Now you get a savory, slight hint of chipotle. You get a little kick of the chipotle and the serrano. You know, they got a little slight bite in there. But it's also a little hint of tartness, you know, and it's smooth. It's really, really good. Friends, you got to try this. It's so good. Let's get our short ribs cooking. I did put a little oil in my pan just so that they don't stick. I've got it set to low. While that's going on, I'm going to fire this one up on this side, and I'm going to put that on a low simmer too. And I'm going to add some of our salsa in here, start warming that up. So that's where our ribs are gonna go. Not too much, you just want maybe about a half an inch of salsa in there. And all we're trying to do here, we wanna get them seared up. I can see the little grease specks going back and forth here, right in front of my eyes. So that's why I'm wearing an apron, because again, it's a new shirt, and my wife says I'm not allowed to ruin another shirt. You wanna put a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic on here. If you wanna just use salt, you can. I mean, we have this OG all the time. This is kind of our go-to in the kitchen for pretty much everything. And if you have a little spatula, or some kind of way, you can press it down for a nice even sear. Now I do have some oil in here. I'm using some homemade ghee. You can use whatever you like. I'm gonna add just a hair more right over here on the side. I stand corrected. It's ghee, not G. I keep saying G because it's like, gee whiz, it's delicious. But I'm constantly getting corrected online. But it has an H, so to me, it should say G. One more very, very important ingredient that goes into this dish is a dark beer. And today we're using this Modelo. So we're gonna add about half of that beer. We're gonna let that cook down a little bit. I'm gonna stir that up a little bit while our ribs are searing over here on the side still. That sear right there, that little char, is gonna add an amazing flavor to our dish. So don't be afraid to give them a little char. These ribs are ready to go into the pan. They're actually cooked to temp, but they're not tender. So we're adding them to this pan where they're gonna simmer in the salsa, and they're gonna be super, super amazing. Now we've got some fond here. You don't wanna leave that in there too long because it's gonna burn. So we're gonna add a little bit of this chili water here. Let that water that's in the chili sauce do its magic and lift everything up. A little bit of heat, a little bit of moisture, all that delicious fond goes right into our dish. So let's pour this into the salsa over here. And we're coming back over here again. With a little more oil. Ooh, I love that searing sound. That's amazing. Now here's a nice trick too. If you don't want them to stick, kind of slather them in the oil a little bit like that and then let them sit in the pan. Flip them over, get a little bit of oil on both sides, and you'll be good to go. Don't forget to season the ribs a little bit. Let's get our OG out. And I'm only seasoning one side. These are very thin. You don't want to over salt. As the dish progresses in the cook, you can always taste over here and see if you think you need a little more salt. Don't worry about being perfect. Remember, you're cooking for enjoyment. Cooking should be fun. You should enjoy the process. You should have a good time while you're doing it. It's time to flippity flip this second batch of ribs here. I love these ribs. These are actually my favorite ribs. Wait a minute. Finger ribs are my favorite. No, wait a minute. Pork ribs are my favorite. No. They're all my favorite, but really, these are my favorite. These kind of ribs bring back a lot of memories. So these are ready. We're gonna get them into the salsa along with the others. We're gonna bury these into the sauce. We might need a little bit more, but I think we're gonna be okay with just that. That's just right amount. Because we want that sauce to still be rich and delicious. And it's gonna thicken up a little bit. It's gonna be like a gravy. It's gonna be amazing. I wanted to make sure my simmer was nice and slow. You can see that. I've got a hot pan over here with some fond. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this chili water. This pan is starting to simmer and boil. We're gonna get a lid on here and cover this up. We want that to steam and cook nice and slow for about 30 minutes. So we've got our water nice and hot. That's gonna loosen up our fond. In my cookbook, I have the recipe, which you can also see online, of how to make refried beans. I call it the 3 stages of refried beans because we don't all always like them exactly the same. So we got 2 cups of beans, 2 tablespoons of lard. We're gonna let that get nice and hot. We're gonna mash them down. And I've got the heat coming up a little bit, so we're gonna spread these around. That moisture already softened up all the fond. These beans are what I basically call stage 1. They're absolutely perfect with any breakfast dish. I like them kind of runny because that way I can scoop them up with my Mexican spoon, AKA tortilla. You want about a medium temperature here, more or less. You definitely don't want low because you want them to quote unquote fry. That's why they're called refried beans. So now we're starting to evaporate a lot of the moisture. And we are working on our stage 2 beans. Not quite as runny, a little bit still, but not quite, okay? So now I'm gonna move to my wooden spatula here, if I can scrape the bottom, and we wanna incorporate that fond from the bottom into the beans. Now you see we're coming up on stage 3 beans. You see how they slide around there in unison, like one? You see how the whole beans kind of slide around all together there? This is perfect for chalupas, tostadas, any kind of dish. You can also use it as a base on your fried egg. You can lay your eggs right on top, pour your salsa over them, and go to town. Let's check on our ribs. Ooh, look at that. You want to get in here and you kind of flip them around a little bit. We're about 15 minutes in. About another 15 minutes, they'll be melting in your mouth. Deliciousness. You might want to take the ones from the bottom and put them on top. But you see how that one jiggles and moves? Not quite tender yet. We want to give it a little bit more time. They should almost be wanting to fall right off the bone, so they need about 15, 20 more minutes. Let's get them back in the sauce here and keep cooking. Our ribs and salsa are done. I'm gonna put me some beans here on this plate and kind of smash them down a little bit. Now we're gonna get, ooh, look at that steam. So we're gonna take these out of the salsa here. Look at that beautiful color. Just gorgeous. We're gonna take some of these, lay them on the plate here. Yeah, one more, there we go. Now the next thing I wanna do here is, I wanna take some of this sauce. I told y'all right, it was gonna be a beautiful gravy. Check this out. A little bit on the ribs. Now, what we want to do, and this is optional, we want to take a little bit of cilantro and just put a little green on here. We're going to take a little bit of queso fresco. We're going to put that on the beans here. We have some fresh avocado. And of course, you want to make sure you have a little lime. So I'm going to squeeze a little bit of lime on the avocado, a little bit on my ribs, why not? Now I like to put a little bit of this salt, pepper, garlic on my avocados. My favorite part of every video, coming right up. Before I taste anything else, I've got to try the ribs. These riblets are amazing. I absolutely guarantee you. Super tender. Oh wow. And they're just like melt in your mouth. That is so incredibly delicious. Now you got your stage 3 beans here with a little bit of queso fresco. So you want to take a little bit of that queso fresco with the beans. Put it in the gravy, baby. That salsa is so good. Oh man. That is incredible. You get that stage 3 bean that's been fried and refried, super delicious. You put the queso fresco and that salsa on there, incredible. You can even do that with the avocado. Dip that in the salsa. Friends, that's incredibly delicious. That's one of those salsas that, like my friend used to say, revive muertos. This will raise the dead. It's that good. Just saying. And I don't mean literally dead. I mean like if you're kind of down and out, hungover, whatever, this sauce will perk you up in a hurry. It's that delicious. I've got my beans right here. You can get that recipe in my cookbook, wherever cookbooks are sold. I also have several recipes on grilled ribs. You can get those also in my cookbook. You can also get my Arnie's Asada rubs, including our new rice seasoning, which is getting rave reviews at pitmaster.us. Very soon to be arniesasada.com. We'll see y'all there. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Keep the smoke light, make it work. Boom! Wait a minute, no smoke, no smoke. Just keep it light. Boom!